They must have hit that K-Dot and was like, they not like us.
Is to see Bud fight Fundora because I'm really intrigued by that matchup.
I mean, he's a champion. He's got to be ready. Even if we think he is or not, he's got to be ready.
They're just guys that Tiffany knows. Once you're in this boxing game, you're going to keep bumping into these same guys that are in this business.
But I think that he learned something about himself that night, which I think will carry forward in the future.
All right, welcome everybody to a very exciting episode 114 of the Standing 8 podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, the first lady of boxing. Cincinnati, man, stand up. We in the building tonight. So today with me, I got my usual suspects. I got Courtney Burt Brown Sugar Tanner abroad. He's joining us abroad. He just dropped out. I'm sure he'll be back. And we also have Gary Kittleson from 3D Boxing. Go ahead and follow him. That's his @ right there. And today we're going to recap or have a reaction episode of the highly anticipated clash between Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. So just to give you some statistics, this took place last Saturday, October 12th, 2024 at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as a part of the Riyadh season. This highly anticipated match between the unified WBC, IBF, and WBO, Artur Beterbiev, and WBA, Super, and IBO light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol. Beterbiev, his pre-fight record was 20-0 with 20 knockouts. This guy's 39 years old. We talked about his age in previous episodes. We also have Bivol. His pre-fight record was 23-0 with 12 knockouts at 33 years of age. Beterbiev would win by majority decision, and he became the division's first undisputed champion since 2022 and the first ever in the four-belt era. The official scores was a draw, 114-114, and then we had two judges that seen it. One seen it at 115 and 113 for Beterbiev, and the other was 116-112. And me personally, I'm looking at my scorecard. I missed the fight initially because I was at a amateur boxing show, and typically it drives me crazy. Typically, when they have amateur shows, this particular club, man, like we'll start out with a bunch of fights and then it ends up being like 6 or 7, and then this time ended up being 15 fights, and the card was started at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, man, we're not going to get out here at 8 o'clock. And we actually had this fight in Saudi Arabia. So the main event was at like 6 p.m. But I went back and watched the fight, only the main event. And I scored it 115 and 113 for Dmitry Bivol. I had a bunch of swing rounds that could have went either way, but I think he did enough. That was my score. So since Courtney is gone for the moment, I'm going to give it over to Gary. Tell me what your thoughts were about the fight overall and what you scored it.
All right, so I'm going to be honest. I scored at 115, 114. I scored the 10th round even because I wanted to keep Beterbiev alive on my scorecard. I had 6-3 going into the 9th. Going into the 10th. After 9, I had 6-3. I guess if I had to hand it in officially, I would have given the 10th round to Bivol. So I would have had it 115, 113 Bivol. But the 10th round was that round. About a minute left is when Beterbiev kind of took control of the fight. So I would have given the first 2 minutes of the round to Bivol. So I guess I would have given the round to Bivol. But the 10th round to me was the swing round. If you swing it to a Beterbiev, I get a draw. If I swing it to Bivol, I have 115, 113. That's the way I could see it. The 115, 113 Beterbiev card I can live with. 116, 112 Beterbiev. I know a lot of y'all have seen it that way. I know a lot of y'all thought Beterbiev won. I just don't see 8 rounds that Beterbiev won. I can give him the last 3. There were a couple rounds there in the middle. I just don't see it. I thought, it was a very close fight. It was very competitive. I think both guys kind of executed how they wanted to execute. I just thought Bivol did just a little bit more. I could live with a draw. When we went to the scorecards, I said, if this is a draw, that's okay. The 118-112, I mean, the 116-112 isn't 118-110 Canelo in the first Triple G fight.
Right.
But I don't like that score. I need to see, like, I want that judge to sit down and show me 8 rounds. 8. That better be of 1, right? Like, you can get to 6, so I can live with a draw. But 8, like, there are 2 more rounds you're giving a better be. I'm just not seeing that. And it was a close fight, and I don't want to, like, just like Lomachenko and Haney, I don't want to cry robbery because this was a good fight. It was a close fight. I just can't see 8 rounds for Beterbiev. 8 seems like too many. But I hope they do it again. You know, Bivol, I thought, was in control through 9, and I think Beterbiev imposed himself and got the better of him and broke him down and got himself back in the fight late. And apparently to 2 of the judges, he did enough. It's just hard for me to believe that, like, most of the people watching all scored the fight with Bivol, but not one judge did. Like, that's always hard for me to take. Like, how does 70-80% of the people watching the fight all score for one guy, but none of the official judges, not even one of the official judges, score that way? Like, that's always hard for me to take. But I don't want to complain about the fight. It was a super competitive fight. It was 2 of the 10 best fighters in the world, pound for pound, putting it all on the line. It was a really entertaining fight. So I'm not trying to complain about the fight. It's just that one scorecard really kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I think, like, for me, I'm a professional boxing judge. So I'll say from my perspective, it's different too. Like, even still, like, watching it on TV, you see stuff that you might not necessarily see ringside. I know this is going to sound crazy, and vice versa. You know, like, when you sit ringside, you might actually see the punches land. You might not. Sometimes the ref is in your way. Sometimes the fighter's back is towards you. Sometimes it's things that you just can't see that would potentially have you scoring around for, you know, somebody else, or vice versa. And like you said, some of those rounds, like I said, that was, especially those swing rounds, they had where somebody might be winning like 2/3 of the round, you know, and then somebody comes back and it's like, depending on the type of judge you are, how are you going to score that? Because it's more aggression. But I seen that, you know, like, man, Bivol came in with his hands up, his chin was down. He had a bunch of, like, lateral movement. He threw combos. Like, Beterbiev was like just throwing haymakers. Like, he wanted to, like, punish him, but Bivol was like setting him up and throwing some really good combos. And he had great ring generalship. He was boxing, you know, like, hitting him in different levels, going to the body, going to the head. I mean, all kinds of things that I look for. Now, people might not like that. They want to see, I think they wanted him to get knocked out. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. But it was a great fight. You know, like you said, it was close. Some of those swing rounds could have went either way. It just depends on what you're looking for. But I can't speak for what the judges seen down there because I wasn't there. But I know that actually gives me anxiety, Gary. Like, for if I was a judge there and that was my name on the screen that they said I judged, I would have anxiety. That gives me anxiety to think about that.
I would ask you something, right? When you score in a fight, I don't know if everyone listening at home knows. You just score one round, you hand it to the ref takes it, hands it to the scorekeeper, right? So you're not really tallying it. Do you have a tally, like, in your mind? Do you remember how you scored each round?
I don't, like, I try not to think of that either. I score round by round. I'm not thinking about the end score now. Like, I was looking at their scorecards, like, the way that was the supervisor card actually that they showed, like, the when they showed the judge's scorecard, that's the supervisor's card. So that's the person that's tallying up all those things. But, like, as a judge, they give you, like, one little square sheet. Depending on where you are, it'll have, like, red, blue. It may have the names of the fighters, and you just mark down 10-9, 10-9, or whatever, 10-8, whatever you score. If there's any reductions, like points taken, you will write that and you sign your name. And I don't think, like, oh man, I'm like, yeah, he's winning the fight. Now in amateurs though, if it's a close fight, let's say, because there's only 3 rounds in an amateur fight. Yeah. So you pretty much know, like, 12-round fight, I mean, you can kind of get away from you. But if it's a 3-round fight, you kind of got an idea like, okay, this person won this round, this person won the second round. And if it's even going into the third round, we are required to circle or pick a winner. Like, who do you think won? If it was close, if it was a tie or something to that effect. But like on a 12-round fight, I don't even want to think about it. You know, you just give your judge's card and they tally it for you. But so I think boxing fans, they think in their mind, you know, they're thinking of the fight overall, right?
Right.
And that's how they see it.
I always use this. You don't judge the whole pizza, right? You have to judge each slice of the pizza and who had better. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
yeah, you're not looking at the whole pie. You're scoring each slice individually. So that's something like that's when they show the punch stat numbers. This guy landed 40 more punches. Yeah, but so what? Like you're not scoring it after the whole fight. You're scoring round by round by round, right? Like
right.
If the opening round, I kind of out jab you in a feeling out contest, right? I just kind of jab better and move better. You're going to score that round to me. If you come back and dominate the second round and outland me by 20 punches, it's still 1 round apiece, right? So, I mean, it might not look even, but when you're scoring it round by round, it's actually even. And I wanted to comment. You made something like when you're at home watching it on TV or in the arena, sometimes it has a different feel to it. And I remember I was at in Arizona when Sinisa Estrada fought Yokasta Valle, and it was interesting. Every single person, it was a fight everyone thought was close, but every single person that texted me that was watching it on TV thought Estrada won. Everyone in the venue thought Valle won clearly, right? So, like watching it on TV, everyone thought the judges got it right. When the judges read it off in the arena, the crowd started booing. They're like, this is really interesting. Like everyone that's texting me back home said, yeah, Estrada won. Estrada clearly won. Everyone in the arena said, no, Valle won. It's like, what angle are they giving you on TV? Like, where are we sitting? Like, that's interesting. Like,
yeah, that's a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
It's really interesting that you can see it. And sometimes even still, like on TV, I don't know if my eyes are tricking me or not. Like, did I see that punch land? You know what I mean? Like you think that it did, but it might not have. But you know, like when you're there at the fight, then you can like actually see the impact on somebody. So it's definitely a different perspective. I think, and I think that's why judges probably get a bad rep. But like on some things, like if you know, like people inside and outside know that this person like won the fight and the cards were just off, then it's kind of like,
there are some scorecards like Arislan De Lara and Paul Williams comes to mind. Holyfield Lewis won, where you're like, this can't be legitimate. Like this, you know, I understand close fights, right? And sometimes there are so many close rounds in a fight, like there can be a variety of scorecards, but sometimes it's not that difficult, right? Like it's not that hard to get this right. So there's going to be variance in the scorecards, but sometimes it's obvious, who won the fight.
Sometimes, definitely. So let me ask you this. Do you think that they will create if there's going to be a rematch of sorts?
I would say it's boxing, so probably not. I hope so. I think there's the money is there. I hope so. Like both these guys have never really ducked smoke, right? These guys have kind of both fought all challengers. So I think so. Like but like something always comes up to ruin the fight that we want in boxing. You know what I'm saying? It just always kind of happens. So yeah, I want to see a rematch. I think there's interest in a rematch. I think people would definitely want to see it again. I love that this wasn't on pay-per-view. I woke up that morning thinking it was on pay-per-view. And everyone's like, no, you don't have to buy it. I'm like, I don't have to buy it. No, it's on the app. I was like, oh, I just saved $80. Beautiful. So that was good. But I think there's going to be rumors of a rematch. I don't know if we ever get it, though. And again, Beterbiev is 39, I think.
39.
What does he have left to prove? I mean, does he fight again? I don't know. I was on here the other day, the last time, saying Usyk should just retire and call it a career. He's 39. Why not apply that logic to Beterbiev? He's undisputed. What else do I have to fight for? I'm going to retire on top. And I wouldn't hate it if he did that, but I want to see this again. This was so good, so close, so competitive. I do want to see it again. I don't know if we get a chance to, though.
He broke his knockout streak.
Yeah.
He broke the knockout streak. We don't know if that's because of the age or just because Bivol's that good. Like that's what is it boiling down to? And something else you brought up was the broadcast. Some of the fights, the undercard was on DAZN, and then the other part was on the main event was on ESPN Plus or something like that.
Yeah, that was strange how they did that. Yeah. I thought like the main event I had to buy. So I was like, I was so confused. Like, no, you don't have to pay anything, but like, oh, the whole thing? That was a pleasant surprise.
That would have been interesting if Shakur Stevenson had it still been on that card and hadn't got injured. I wonder if they would have added him on the main card on ESPN Plus or kept him on his own and been like some extra main event, like a main event, something like that.
Who was Shakur supposed to fight?
I can't remember. It that sounds bad too. Like you can't be that insignificant, right? What's going on?
I think Shakur is one of the best handful of fighters on planet Earth, and it's just like there's a little bit of I don't want to say there's disrespect on his name. Like I was in the Prudential Center for his last fight back in July, and I thought it was a masterclass performance, and like his own hometown, his own home city, like booed and left early. I'm like,
let's leave it.
Really? Like, I mean, I get he's not Triple G. I get it, right? Like he's not in a way, he's not going to go out there and destroy people. But like, it's Shakur Stevenson. This is a masterclass performance. Isn't this what you guys wanted to see? He's like dominating every second of the fight, and it's like, nah, we want to see a knockout. Like, yeah, but you're not going to. It's Shakur. That's not what he does. So
he was supposed to fight Joe Cordina.
Oh, that's right. Would have been decent. That's right. Joe Cordina.
Tommy said he had to fight 7-5 for Bivol. We got Brandon Griffin in the house. He said he actually had a draw. Bivol could easily clean up his championship round mistakes in the rematch, breaking that KO streak and handling Canelo's power. Bivol has a chin. I agree with that. He was right. Yeah. Then Tommy said, I was mad they had the concert on DAZN while we had to listen to Tim Bradley in studio waiting for them. And the concert was good. They had Missy Elliott, Sierra, Busta Rhymes.
Do people not like Tim? I've known Tim Bradley since the amateurs. Like, do people not like Tim Bradley? Is that like a thing?
I don't know. He seems like he rambles to me. I don't know. He gets on my nerves, man. He kind of rambles, and he's kind of one of those. Like he's kind of. I don't know. He seems kind of a little bit biased to me. I don't know what's up with Tim.
Look, he's a top ranked guy. They gave him that Manny Pacquiao money times 3. Wouldn't you be loyal to Top Rank too if they gave you? I don't.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm like, he seems biased. You remember who used to be the most biased? One of the most biased commentators. What was it? It was George Foreman. Was it George Foreman?
It was that whole HBO. It was Lampley. Lampley loved anyone that was trained by Freddie Roach, right? And then like George Foreman just loved like whoever was the HBO fighter. It was that whole crew.
Whole crew just biased.
And like Jim Lampley was so good at calling the fight. It's like if you could just put your little petty little biases aside and just call the fight, you'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like remember like the Josh Clottey Pacquiao fight with like bang, bang, bang. It's like, come on, man, stop cheerleading in the booth, man.
He said he's as biased as Lampley and Merchant. Hey, you remember when Floyd Mayweather went off on Larry Merchant?
Yeah. Well, Merchant just like the aggressive fighter. Like if you came forward, it didn't matter. Like Arturo Gatti, he loved Arturo Gatti.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like Mayweather because Mayweather is not the aggressive fighter. It's like Merchant's biases were like fighters I like against fighters I don't like.
Right. He could not stand Floyd.
Yeah.
He's like, you never give me a fair shake. So let me ask you this. Based on what just happened over the weekend, Tommy said, if I was 50 years younger, like, sorry, Larry, even if you was 50 years younger, you get your ass.
Just be younger, yeah.
Even if you're younger, you're not gonna make it, bro. But based on like what just happened this past weekend with this light heavyweight division, based on the landscape of the light heavyweight division. It's actually heating up. If you look on ESPN's rankings, they moved Benavidez up to number 3 and Morrell up to 4, and they're fighting each other in January. Is there any matchups you want to see here? Like, would you
one? I want. Like, I've been asking for that fight because I picked Morrell, and I know everyone's gonna pick Benavidez, but I picked Morrell to beat Benavidez. Like, if you could say, Gary, make a card of any 5 fights you want, I promise you, Morrell versus Benavidez is on that. That is such a great fight. I'm leaning towards Morrell. I'm not 100% confident on that, especially after his last performance. But, like, that's the fight. And then whoever wins that next May, June, whatever, fights Bivol. Or have the Bivol Beterbiev rematch, and then the winners fight each other. I mean, this is a loaded division right now, and any matchup between those 4 can't miss. So we're actually getting the fights that we want now in boxing, and that's the division we want to see him in. So we're in good shape as boxing fans with the 175-pound division. Those are 4 pound-for-pound talents all in the same weight class at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. As long as like Benavidez doesn't drop back down or something like that, like that'd be good. What's Steven talking about? What's up, Steve? He said Gary John Good pick Gary.
Well, I think because I picked Bivol. I was the only one that picked Bivol.
Did you?
I did.
So, oh, wait a minute. You do the bets, right?
Yeah.
Do you choose bets? And you the only I don't even know who I picked. Honestly, I don't even know who I picked. I think I did not pick Beterbiev. I was saying something about his age and injury.
Everyone picked Bivol. We were on. Everyone picked Bivol except for me. I took Beterbiev.
Oh. What did Courtney say? Where is Courtney?
Me and Courtney had a good exchange on that. I said he was being disrespectful to Beterbiev
because of his age.
Well, yeah, he gave him basically no chance to win. And I was like, really? Like, no one gets out alive with Beterbiev. Now, to be fair, I thought Bivol won the fight. So I will put that out there. On my scorecard, I thought Bivol edged it out.
Yeah, I definitely had Bivol winning. It wasn't, like I said, it was close. It wasn't, and they were going back and forth. I almost had given him like I gave him 4 out of the first 5 rounds, Bivol. Yeah.
I think that's about it. And then do you remember who you gave the 10th round to?
I have it written there. I gave it to Beterbiev.
You gave the 10th to Beterbiev. Okay. Yep.
I did. And I can't remember why. I usually make notes, but I made notes right at round 4 when I gave him that round and he started to cut the ring off. I made that note. But I didn't make any more notes after that. I don't know why I picked him for round number 10, but I did give it to Beterbiev.
10, he came on. Bivol was moving well. He was scoring. And then late in the round, Beterbiev rallied. He kind of hurt him late. So it's like, how much do you value that over the dominance of the first 2? Right? That was a really hard round to score. Like, that's why I put a circle around that one.
Yeah, definitely. Courtney said a master class by Bivol. I had Bivol also before. So Tommy also had Bivol before the fight. Steven had Bivol too?
Everyone.
The whole panel. He was the only one. He said he gave the 10th to Bivol and said he had confidence in that round. Okay.
See, and Tiffany gave it to you see what I'm saying? It was that kind of round. It was a real toss-up round. I
remember why I gave it to him, and I was kind of going back and forth on that round. And then I'm like, oh man, they're almost even. Like it was almost even. It was like 96-95. And I'm like, whoever wins these next couple of rounds is gonna win. And they each won a round. The next couple.
Yeah, I gave the last 2 rounds both to Beterbiev. I gave him 11 and 12.
Beterbiev did come in on late, but I said Bivol did enough overall. So that's Tommy's.
I kind of agree with that. It was very if it would have been a draw, I could live with that. Like. It's the 116, 112 scorecards. I'm just not seeing that. Like, I understand that there's subjectivity, and I understand these rounds are close, but Bivol only won 4 rounds. Like, that's hard for me to take.
That's what I said. Like, he had his hands up. I mean, like, dude was boxing beautifully. He was boxing beautifully. I don't know. People just That's what I was trying to tell one of our amateur fighters. He keeps he's very aggressive. He keeps losing matches, and he's coming up to us like, "Why am I losing?" And you're like, "Dude, you're being he was being very aggressive, but he not throwing no punches."
I want to tell him a true story. Bam
So-
Rodriguez lost his first 6 amateur fights. He was 0-6, and the rest is history. So don't tell that kid not to give up. Bam Rodriguez started his career 0-6 as an amateur. So
Tommy said he also gave 11 and 12 to Beterbiev. I gave 1 round to each. I gave round 11 to Beterbiev, and I gave round 12 to Bivol.
it was a difficult fight to score. I mean, it was difficult.
And then Brandon says, I'm being generous with my draw for the record. I can easily see a 7-5 call for Bivol, especially after rewatching. But that 116 card is madness. Shaking my head.
I don't love that card. 116, 112, Beterbiev. I don't love that card.
What if it would have been 116, 112, the opposite direction?
I could see that because there were rounds that I felt I gave the close rounds to Beterbiev. Like the toss-up rounds, I think I scored most of them Beterbiev. So, like, if you would have gave the other toss-up rounds to Bivol, which I could see, like, I think anywhere from 116, 112, Bivol to a draw is, like, the reasonable scorecards. Anything outside of that, like, I'm not really seeing it.
I think Sean Porter had a 116, 112 for Bivol. I didn't listen to the reasons why, but I remember just seeing it scrolling on Instagram. He said that he had a 116, 112 for Bivol as well.
Did you just have that feeling after the fight, Bivol won? Like, wasn't that kind of like your feeling after the fight? Like,
Yeah, I felt like it. But then did you remember hearing in the corner Beterbiev, they was basically saying like, dude, you need to knock him out.
Yeah.
You need to knock out. And why would they be saying that unless they thought they were winning?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see a card like that for Bivol based on a close round that the judges could split on. So, I mean, technically that draw was kind of like, yeah, it's close. But I don't know. Beterbiev simply wasn't active enough through 6. I gave him quite a few rounds after round 6. I thought he lost most of the first part of the fight.
Right. Yeah, I thought better. Yeah, Bivol got out. And I was expecting that. I was just, like, when I was forecasting this in my mind, I thought, so whoever put in the comments before that, Bivol's got a chin, ain't lying. Like, I thought the fight was going to go like it was going, and then Beterbiev would eventually stop him.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And when he didn't, I said, oh well, Bivol's going to get the decision. And then he didn't, right? Like, I thought there were 2 ways this fight could end. Bivol by decision, Beterbiev by stoppage. I didn't think Beterbiev could win enough rounds to get the decision, but apparently he did.
And then Tommy said, I said coming into the 11th, Bivol did not want to end on a 7-5 or it could go either way. And he let Beterbiev close strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That was a tough fight to score. But, we got to treat as, like you said, that's one of the fights that we needed in boxing. We needed this. People that's not duck and smoke, the best of the best fighting each other. That was a great fight. So we talked about Morrell. We talked about Benavidez. Of course, we still have Bivol and Beterbiev, which potentially could be a rematch because it seems like Turkey wants it. What Turkey wants, he gets, kind of. That's what it seems.
He's the man with the money. He gets what he wants. Yeah.
Seems like he wants it. Seems like that's what was going to happen. But are we not? How does Canelo fit into this equation anywhere?
And I'm going to piss Steve off here, and that's not my intention. I'm just going to call it like I see it. When Canelo wants to fight one of those names, then we can mention Canelo's name. Until he wants to fight the winner of either one of those fights, there's no point in talking about him. He can go fight Munguia, and he can go fight those guys, but he's not going to, he's not going to fight Benavidez. He's not going to fight Morrell, and he's not going to fight Beterbiev. So, I mean, and okay. Let's say Canelo's a super middleweight and he's not going up to 175. 175 is a bridge too far for him. I can live with that, but I'm telling you right now, Tiff, Canelo's not going to fight any of those 4 names.
That's a shame.
I agree. But he's going to say, I'm a super middleweight. If they want to fight me, come to 168. And I don't blame him. Like, that's his weight class.
Yeah, but he needs to stop campaigning.
I agree with you, Tiff. I agree.
He needs to stop campaigning, man. Like, shit, or get off the pot, Canelo. Like, I'm almost to the point where I'm ready for him to like retire. He has a lot of fights though.
I've said that he's still making $50 million a fight or whatever, so I think he's gonna keep doing that. But yeah, I'm with you.
Canelo has like what, like 60-something fights? That's a lot of fights.
He does, yeah. I mean, he's got a great career, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great fighter. If he wants to retire, I'm not gonna fault him for it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: going back to this card, kind of like veering off the path here. A lot of speculation was coming up about what's this guy's name? Ben. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, I'm in my mind for it. But the guy, he's from England. He's like
Ben Whitaker or whatever.
That's his name. What'd you think about his fight? Even from this card, this is his time to shine.
Texas was playing Oklahoma at the same time, so I was just kind of going back, and I wasn't really watching it. And I don't want to say that he quit or got out of the fight, but he was losing, and he got lucky to get a technical decision, a technical draw. And I got to go back and watch the fight. It looked like he quit the fight. I'm not saying he did. I wasn't there. I'm not in this corner. I don't know how bad it was. It looked like, just from a casual, just from kind of looking at it, that he wanted out of that fight. How did you feel about that, Tiff?
I didn't see it either. All I see was the highlights. One, I wanted to know, like, what the hell was up with the ropes? Why are the ropes that loose? Like, who checked the freaking ring? That scared me. The ropes is very loose for them to just fall right over the top of the ropes like that. But, you know, like, it looked like he was getting touched up, and that was a perfect opportunity for him to be kind of like, yeah, I'm done. I'd rather go out this way like an injury and get this type of decision versus getting like knocked out or something like that.
Which,
before he's able to showcase who he is.
He is a highly touted guy. I don't really see a whole lot in him. You know, he's losing to a guy named Liam Cameron, who's got like 6 losses, who's an opponent. I'm not trying to dump on Liam Cameron, but he's an opponent level guy. He's supposed to go in and lose, right? And Cameron's beating the hell out of him. I'm not okay. Like, maybe Whitaker isn't what everyone cracked him up to be. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying his career's over and he's garbage. I'm just saying, like, maybe he's not as good as he was hyped up to be.
Like, this supposed to be this is supposed to lay down. What are you doing? You fight for it. Tommy said, I heard they told Ben to stay down and act hurt after he fell off the ring. That reminds me of when B-Hop fell off the ring and hurt his shoulder. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. That was with
That was Tarver, right? Was that Tarver?
Chad Dawson, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dawson was a Chad.
Yeah,
Dawson?
Chad Dawson.
My God. That was crazy. That was the craziest thing I ever seen. So stuff like that happens, and you like when you're working at a fight, that's the last thing you want to see happen, especially if you like the timekeeper or some shit like that. And they fall out the ring like, oh, don't fall out the ring. But I was like, man, that's kind of scary for him. That it happened that way. Kind of feel bad about that. Yeah.
Again, you're not the ringside physician. You're not working this corner. Do you think he could have continued?
I don't know. I had to see how he was after he got up. Like, did he get up on his own? Because I seen him going out the Coliseum. Like, I seen him land on the side of the mat, but the other dude was also laying on the side of the ring. And then the next picture I seen of him, he was getting carted out in a wheelchair. So I don't know. I can't say that he wasn't hurt. I have no clue, but
I'm not saying, but he got carted off in a wheelchair. I remember Paul Pierce being carted off in a wheelchair too, and then coming back in the game 3 minutes later. Again, I'm not saying he's faking it. I don't know. I'm not the doctor. I'm just saying from where I was sitting. Like, I remember that Hopkins fight. Hopkins told the doctor and the referee that he wanted to fight. He said, "Yeah, I want to fight," and they told him no because of his shoulder.
Shoulder popped out. Yeah.
I didn't see Ben Whitaker making his case. Please, no, I can fight. Let me fight. I don't remember hearing that. That's all I'm saying.
So Paul,
it was Paul. Like when Bradley was fighting Devin Alexander, and Alexander got cut, and it looked like a little cut on his eye. And Alexander like, ow, I can't see. Well, what's the doctor got to do when the fighter says, I can't see? You got to stop the fight.
A fight, yeah.
Has to, right?
Yeah.
And the fighter knows that. And Alexander's getting his eye looked at. And he's like, oh, I can't see. It's like, I don't know, man. That cut didn't look so bad to me. Like, I don't know. It's not on me. But there's like, he had a little nick from a headbutt, and he's screaming he can't. And then they got to go to the scorecards.
Right. Get past the 4th round so we can get to the scorecards. That is crazy. Oh, man. I don't like Tim Brad. No, did I say that out loud?
That was
my nerves. Well, I guess it's cool. You know, I used to like his little work ethic that he had when they had the show. We showed him with his dad and stuff like that, and his family. And one of his toughest fights with Ruslan Provodnikov. Like, he
great
was
fight. Yeah.
knocked out. And so I got a lot of respect for him, but you know, he does get on my nerves as a commentator, and I'm not gonna hold you on that one.
I remember in that fight, Joel Diaz screaming, like, get on your horse and use the ring. Like, do not if you stand in with them, I'm going to stop this fight. And Roy Jones Jr. do the commentary, like, well, you better stop the fight right now because he ain't getting on his horse.
So I'm going to do another detour before we get out of here. Do you watch Pro Box TV at all?
I love Pro Box TV.
Did you see Chris Colbert's fight?
Oh, man, yeah. Chris Colbert. I was on that hype train. I was a big Chris Colbert fan. And he keeps letting me down. Like, when Chris Colbert lets his hands go and he's boxing and moving on the outside, I still think he's really talented.
Yeah.
I don't know, he shells up. Like, he seems like he's not that motivated in the ring. Like, I don't know what it is with him. But there's like a little Adrian Broner vibes. Like, you're much better than this. Like, why are you losing to guys like this? I was a Chris Colbert fan. I like Chris Colbert. I think he's got excellent skills. He's just not putting it all together for some reason.
Oh, we got a question. Tommy said, what are y'all's thoughts on the ESBC game Undisputed? You got it, Gary?
I don't.
So my son has it. So we have just the regular version. We don't have the deluxe version. It's kind of cool. He's beating my ass. I tried using Terrence Crawford. I got beat. So don't tell Bud I lost. He took his first loss with me, as you know. He knocked me out so easily. He beat me, and I was Clarissa Shields, and he was I can't remember who he was fighting. And then the only player that I had a chance of winning was Deontay Wilder. Because he got the power and everything. Like, I was beating his ass. He ended up knocking me out, but he was Tyson Fury, and I knocked him down. It was like 5 knockdowns in the whole fight, and he won a couple. He got a couple. He knocked me out eventually, but that was my first time playing. It's harder than I thought it was going to be, but it's kind of cool. Some of the graphics could have been better.
Is it not? Are the graphics not great on it, Tiff?
It's good. It's pretty good, but I feel like they could have spent all the time that they spent in development. I expected more from that.
Yeah.
Some of the fighters, like I had made a post about it. Like Kevin Kelly, looked like Jamel Herring. It was somebody else. When I first looked at Bud's picture, I thought it was Tevin Farmer. Like, who the hell is that? Why is he crying? You know, like, what the hell? But Jamel Herring did look just like Kevin Kelly. I promise you. As soon as I see him, I'm like, is that? I said, oh, look at Jamel. My son said, that's Kevin Kelly. Like, what?
They're both New Yorkers, yeah, whatever, yeah.
Wilder is meta. Hey, Wilder was good, man. If you play that game and it's your first time, pick Deontay Wilder as your person. And it's kind of cool. They let you pick like different venues to fight in, like Riyadh and all different kind of places. It's pretty cool. I mean, haven't had a boxing game in a long time, so
wow, yeah.
I mean, compared to Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it's like 20,000 times better than that. So Mike
Tyson's Punch Out, still one of the greatest games ever. You know it, Tiffany. You know
it. Somebody said, so Bud cockeyed on the Undisputed game. Listen.
Oh, Noe G. What's up, Noe G?
Noe G, listen, I'm gonna tell you, if you look at that thing and you tell me if you think that looked like Tevin Farmer, I thought it was him. Now, when you get into the game, I'm just talking about their profile pictures. Like when you select a player, I'm like, oh my God, is that Tevin Farmer? But when you get into the fight, it's cool. You can pick like your clothes, your ring walk music. You know, I will say this too. I was a little bit disappointed. I don't know if there's a difference between the deluxe version and the regular version, but the music, I expected like some good walkout music, like rap music, like the greatest hits. It just wasn't there. It was just that was whack. That was really whack.
Give it a score, 1 to 10. How are you rating the video game?
I get it like 7. It's some stuff
right. It's quality, but it's not great. I got you. Yeah.
He said now EA Sports is saying they might put Fight Night back in play. They should.
I saw that too. Yeah.
They can do like, if they did it, they can add the music and add more players, add more fighters. The ring walk was cool. Some of those graphics like that going in there was cool. And we have Xbox. I'm not sure if people have PlayStation, the difference in Sony and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought it could have been a little bit better, especially the music.
Is somebody challenging you?
But yeah. So that's my son back there talking about he's challenging me to the game.
Rematch?
I don't want no rematch. He beat my ass like 4 times. I'm done.
You can use Wilder. Get him back. Knock him out. You can get him back.
Hopefully there will be more fighters added and able to be downloaded. I think you can add more, but there is a cost. So you know how that is. It's kind of like Roblox. If you got a little kid that does Roblox, you gotta add money to do other things. But I don't know. I don't think Shakur was on there. I know they probably can't pay Mayweather enough money to get him on there.
Roblox don't got Dmitry Bivol.
There's no Shakur Stevenson on that game?
That's not finished. There's Shakur Stevenson on there? No, right? Huh? Shakur is not on the fight, right?
No, not yet.
Nope.
The disrespect on that man's name.
No Tank, no Shakur.
You can't name 5 fighters in the world better than Shakur Stevenson.
No, they don't. They don't have him on there. I don't know what the contracts were, but yeah, he's not there. I got beat using Joe Calzaghe too. He's on there.
That's my least favorite fighter of all time. Joe Calzaghe.
He said Beterbiev is not on there either. It's not. I mean, it's a lot of people missing. I think Canelo's on there. I'm pretty sure Canelo is. I didn't pick him though. But he's not. It's quite a few. So hopefully, like Tommy's point, that they start to add more people or give you the option to add more, and it just gets better as they continue on. Maybe they are taking comments from people and using it to make it better. They have young and current Canelo. They had young and current Roy Jones too. Roy Jones Jr. There was 2 different Roy Jones on there, so that was good.
See, now I want to play the game because Roy Jones, that's the GOAT right there.
They got Roy Jones. I didn't use him, but I'm telling you, if you play for the first time, pick Deontay Wilder. I promise you, you may win.
His power's a cheat code. That's what you're telling us?
That's cheat code right there. That's cheat code. Got to keep his hands up because his chin ain't there. Go figure. So that's going to wrap up episode 114 of the Standing 8 podcast, where we recap the majority decision victory Beterbiev had over Bivol. And before we end this episode, do you have any shout outs or anything that you want to say to anybody?
Not really. I mean, this was a blast. Thanks for having me on. I love the Standing 8. So it's an honor and a privilege to get to come be on with you guys. And the one-on-one with Tiffany was a blast. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, and have me on anytime.
Thank you so much for coming, Gary. We really appreciate you. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I want to shout out Courtney Burt Brown Sugar. He was supposed to be here. He's having some technical difficulties, so he couldn't get back on it. I know he really has some things to say about this fight, so I'm sure we're going to hear him with his perspective again. Aaron, thank you for letting me take over as host. I hope I did a good enough job for you guys. Thank you so much. I want to shout out Tommy. We got Steven, Mike Gomes. We got Aaron again, Courtney, and we got I want to thank Eddie Sanchez, Danny D. Rock Pena, Boxing Movement, Supreme Boxing Rundown with Rokas, Sean Fitzgerald, and Anthony Saldana. All of our supporters, everybody in the chat right now that was keeping us hyped up and talking and engaging with us. We got Tommy, and of course, he is one of our panelists. He's in the comments. We got Brandon Griffin Sr. We got Noji Dallas over there, and anybody else that's supporting us back home. Everyone engaged with us on the live stream, on our social media channels. Thank you for being a part of the movement. I want to say thank you to Ohio Runs Boxing, Cincinnati Stand Up, all the amateurs this weekend. All of you guys, good luck. I know you're competing today, tomorrow, Sunday over in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the King of the Jungle National Tournament. Show up and show out. Have a great time. And till next time, guys. Peace.